got to come home, you decided that getting a bone marrow transplant was something that was achievable. Can you tell us a little bit about the pre-treatment process on the journey to that?
So the pre-treatment process was obviously finding a donor. So they had to get my genetics and then match it with the National Bone Marrow Registry. I am happy to say that they found not one, but two matches for me, and they are 100% matches. And what that means is there are 10 basic proteins that they need to match with the donor. And sometimes the donor will match 8 out of 10, which is kind of okay. My donors are matching 10 out of 10, which means I have a better chance at the transplant being successful. Once a donor is found, then I had to have several appointments at the transplant center, which is Hackensack Hospital. They had to do another bone marrow biopsy to confirm my remission. They had to run a series of blood work because they need to know what viruses I've been exposed to in the past, like CMV, things like that, Epstein-Barr, because if I have any of those in my system, that can affect the transplant success as well. They did a pulmonary function test. They do a echocardiogram, an EKG. I had to have a liver scan. So they did all of these tests to make sure that my body is physically capable of handling the bone marrow transplant, because the next step in the process is getting admitted to the hospital.
Right.
And they give me 4 days of very strong chemotherapy and 2 days of radiation, full body radiation twice a day. The goal of wiping out my entire immune system. So my white cell count should drop to below 0.1, meaning I would have no white blood cells that are detectable in blood work. And that signals to them that my body is ready to accept the cells from the donor. And the transfer is set to take place on November 20th, which will then be considered day 0.
Okay, and I'm assuming that there is a rigorous post-treatment plan. Once you're home, I know that you will need 24-hour care. Can you tell us a little bit about who will be your caregiver and what being home will look like for you?
So the post-treatment regimen is much more intense than the pre-treatment regimen because it is longer and far scarier, I think. My husband will be my 24-hour caregiver, as he has been since my diagnosis. He has been my caregiver since the day we went to the emergency room. So he will continue that. I will have to be isolated once I return home, and I will return home anywhere from day 15 post-transplant to day 30, depending on how my body reacts and when engraftment takes place. Engraftment is when the donor cells start making me a nice, fresh, new immune system. There are dietary restrictions I have to maintain because I will be what's considered neutropenic, meaning the slightest thing, a germ, a bacteria, a virus can affect me significantly, and I could end up back in the hospital or worse. So a lot of things I have to avoid. I have to change the way I eat. Only cooked foods, nothing raw, no fresh fruits, no fresh vegetables, no salads, nothing unpasteurized, no soft cheeses. It's a very long list. My houseplants had to go. Obviously, I have no pets, so that was easy. We have to maintain cleanliness in the house. There can't be dust anywhere in my path because dust carries particulates that we can't necessarily see. So it's a lot on my family to really maintain that almost hospital-like level of cleanliness in the house that most people do not maintain in their own homes. I mean, that's not really realistic on the day-to-day.
Right, and who in your immediate family lives with you currently in your home?
My husband. My son is here. He's 18. My daughter's away at college, but will be coming home on break. She should be here when I get out of the hospital, and my 81-year-old dad.